Living underneath the daily roar of Oceania's jets may sound like a nuisance. But generations have learned to love all that comes with living along Bird Neck Road. Roots run deep in Virginia Beach's Seatack neighborhood.
You know, surrounded by family, church. I go to the same church that I, as a child.
Stepping inside a Sunday service here is like stepping into the past. A time when everybody knew everybody. The man on the microphone, that's Donnie Gregory. Like many who call Seatack home, he's lived here a long time and lived through a lot of change.
I've been living in Seatack for 68 years. I tried living a couple of places. Florida, I spent a little time in DC, Maryland, but I've always had sand in my shoes and I had always come back home. I guess I'm just so used to the camaraderie that's in this community and the kind of love fellowship that go on with family. And I always, you know, my whole family is here. And I guess I'm addicted to that type of relationship. Your grandparents live on the same street. Your other grandparents live in the next street over. And your aunts and uncles on the same street. It's a lot of that in this community.
So has Samuel Johns, who turned 98 last year.
I moved here in 1950. My home is at Newtown Road. That's where I was born and raised, at Newtown Road right there, beside the interstate. The interstate took part of our property. So we tended about 100 and some acres. My daddy had a vegetable farm, and we used to serve stores in Norfolk. And then we'd go to Norfolk and buy. But when my daddy first started out, on Newtown Road, 3 times a week, he had a mule and wagon. Now, people think that's a long ways. It seems shorter now than it did back them days. Well, when I moved here in 1950, it was a black community. It wasn't 15 families from the boulevard to Bell's Corner.
Because you live here, it didn't mean that it was unity. It was unity here. I mean, love.
It's a community that's still like small local communities used to be. You know, today in a lot of our neighborhoods, we don't even really know our neighbors right next door to us. But this community still knows just about everyone.
In Seatack, many can trace their family lineage back to the 1800s, a historically African-American community that prospered in Princess Anne County in the shadow of a segregated Virginia Beach oceanfront.
I grew up in a segregated time. I went to an all-black school. When Don Gregory, when I really realized that a change had taken place, when integration came, and I had to leave that environment and go into the newfound way for us to live going forward, and that was to integrate. And that's where I struggled. That's where I really identified with maybe somebody don't want me in this place.
Segregation, well, I mean, the thing back them days was tough. I'm not lying to you. You couldn't hardly, you know, the cops was hard on black people.
As a teenager, I worked at the hotels on the oceanfront. We had a trailway bus driver by the name of Drinkwater, right? And he would pick us up. All the women or workers that worked on Atlantic Avenue and other places, you know. And the Virginia Beach Laundry is one of the places. we worked, and most of us had the hotels, and then some had private homes that they worked in. But we had to be out on Atlantic Avenue at a certain time to get the bus back to Seatack. They accepted it, you know. And just like some of the pictures I see now with black gospel singers traveling, but we had to stop and eat at the back door. We had separate bathrooms at the Greyhound station. You had to pay a dime to use the bathroom. Or the white homes, the women will come and pick the workers up if they didn't, if they needed them sooner than what the bus could get them there,
We love to testify to each other.
They've long known their history matters. Now it's officially in the record books.
The Historic Preservation Commission wanted to update the architectural survey that we have for Virginia Beach, and so the previous one had been done in the early 90s. Within the context of that project, our consultant identified several neighborhoods that they thought were potentially eligible for listing as historic districts in the National Register of Historic Places. Seatack was one of them.
In December, Seatack landed on Virginia's Registrar of Historic Places.
A grant that was available from the National Park Service to nominate underrepresented communities for listing in the National Register, and made application for that grant and received it. So we received that information in July of 2020 that the grant had been awarded, and it allowed us to move forward with the National Register nominations for Ellen J. Gardens and for Seatack.
Virginia Beach's Historic Planning Director, Mark Reed, applied for the recognition through the state's Department of Historic Resources.
It has been listed in the Virginia Landmarks Register. The State Review Board determines whether or not they want to forward that nomination to the National Park Service. Okay. And so all of that occurred in December. It was listed in the Virginia Landmarks Register and was approved to forward to the National Park Service, recognizing the African American historic resources, the African American communities, because they have been overlooked for a long time, and that's really the focus of these underrepresented community grants.
The honor opens the door for historical tax credits and federal protections for the community.
So in a historic district like Seatack, the property owners who have a resource that's considered contributing to the designation, then potentially they can qualify for tax credits for a rehabilitation project. Okay. So particularly here in Seatack, where there are some older buildings from the 1920s, 30s, 40s, they may need a little bit of refreshing. Okay. So it's not money up front, but it does provide financial benefit if we're going to do the work anyway. The other thing it provides is a review in the event of a federal undertaking. Typically we think of that as roadways. Mm-hmm. So if they wanted to expand Bird Neck Road even more, then there would be a review process and there would be a determination of whether there's any adverse effect.
But more than anything, it's a symbol that Seatack's residents embody what it means to be living history.
Official recognition from the Commonwealth of Virginia is, I think that's a big deal. I think that really reinforces that they're not just historic in their little community. They are historic in the context of the state, of the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Getting it on the record like it's on the record now, it means everything.
It shows that we matter. It shows that we matter.
In Virginia Beach, Alex Littlehales for 13 News Now.